Being the center of attention in college football just 1 year ago, Deion Sanders now faces the ultimate test as he leads Colorado into the Big 12 spotlight. In today's show, we'll be discussing how Coach Prime will prove he's more than just a headline grabber. Welcome in, Buffs fans, and thanks for tuning in to Buffs Banter, presented by Believe Network. My name is Dean Frank, and I'm here with my roommate and co-host, Oscar Gonzalez Moore.
Before we get into the show, make sure to join the Stampede. Follow and subscribe to us at Buffs Banter on your favorite platforms. We post every show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, as well as clipping the highlights on Instagram and TikTok so you guys don't miss out on anything. We'll be posting shows twice a week about the Buffs all season long, so stay tuned.
Today, we're going to hop into a new segment we call Buffs Buzz, which is pretty much describing what is going on surrounding the narrative around the media.
So I think a really good place to start with this, Dean, is how much pressure do you think Coach Prime has to win this season?
There's so much pressure this year on winning because we've seen what the media can do to this team. We had all the hype at once, and then once we started losing, everyone pretty much turns on the bandwagon and just all the hate possible, really. So we've seen what Coach Prime has done for this team, whether that's boosting all the sold out tickets, changing the whole media narrative with this team in general, because obviously remember, we were just a one-win team just a couple years ago, and now every game is sold out, and we're pretty much the center of attention, along with having over 1 million followers on the Boulder CU football page. But all that happened last year, right? This is this year, and we need to win. We're in a new conference. Everything rides on this year just because Shedeur and Travis and even Shiloh are leaving, going to be in the league next year. So it's all right now. This is probably the best roster we'll have with Coach Prime being here, and obviously them being his kids as well is important. But as a coach, it's going to be the best quarterback he's had. So we need to win now, also to set our team up for the future and get more recruits for the future.
That's if we don't get Mr. Julian Lewis. I think he could be better than Shedeur. But no, yeah, I totally agree. I think Prime faces significant pressure to win this year. Like, he's already a high-profile type of guy with a Hall of Fame career. You know, expectations are naturally high. But after last year and him continuing his bold statements and confident attitude, you know what I mean? Like, it's even heightened the anticipation, and with the transfer portal as well. So I think fans and the media, to be honest, are expecting immediate results. And I really hope we give the media and the fans immediate results, because I don't want our Madden rating dropping at all.
You hit it perfectly. I mean, Deion Sanders, right? Hall of Fame career in football, also played in the MLB. Top 20 athlete all time in every sport.
Absolute dog.
When it comes down to it. Sure. But at the end of the day, I think he does want to be known as a coach, and he's taken this very seriously. And he wants people to take him seriously. And the only way to do that is to win. So pretty much he knows he has to shut out the media by winning. I think last year was a great start, right? I mean, again, I don't care if people think it was some sort of like wrongful year we had. We were a 1-win team. A 3-game boost in the win column is a dub in my books. And I think what that means just for the future is that we got to keep progressing in the right direction. And there is a lot of pressure on him just because of how much rides on this year and how much us winning right now is going to do to the program. Why is the public's view on Coach Prime so much different than those of the Buffs fans?
You have had a class with Coach Prime, which I'm sure you'll touch on in a second. But I think the public's view of Prime might be a little more mixed than what we view him as students, because I mean, I think he has just done so much for the community. But while a lot of people from the outside world, you know, recognize his accomplishments and his charisma, people might view him through more of a critical lens, just focusing on the pressure and expectations we were just talking about. You know what I mean? And I think some critics will definitely doubt his coaching credentials, or just question, I guess, the sustainability of his high energy approach just to everything. Just, the videos, the YouTube, we know well off. So yeah, I think the media can also just display a bunch of controversies about Prime, and we were probably the most recorded or like streamed team last year. One of them, at least. I mean, definitely biggest increase from 2022 to 2023. So yeah, how about you? Can you give any additional opinions from a student perspective?
Yeah. Well, you know what? It is hard because I'm obviously biased as a Buff fan, and he's done so much for our team, just being pretty much a laughing stock of the Pac-12, now being the center of attention in many ways in college football. But so, yeah, you did talk about it. I was lucky enough to be in this class. It was called Prime Time last semester at Boulder, and Coach Prime came in a couple times to talk to us. I was able to ask him a couple questions too, so definitely was awesome just having that one-on-one interaction with him. But something he hit on multiple times is just confidence. And you can see that anytime he talks, it's like, man, this guy just has confidence. He knows he's him. Like he is the aura coming off of Coach Prime. You can feel it. And I'm not trying to glaze in any way, but man, you see it from all these types of videos too with him, and it's just he doesn't care what the public opinion is on him, and all he cares about is his team, himself, and his sons, obviously. But I do understand the jealousy in some way. People see him, and he's just always smiling. He's always energetic. He's always just having a good mood, whether that's dancing or listening to music. Like he obviously has that like unconditional like different route that you wouldn't really see a coach in the country do now, where coaches are more strict and very hard shell. You don't see that other side of him where he can open up and see how he talks his team in the locker room and kind of just goes about his everyday life on YouTube with Well Off. No other coach does that at all. So it is different. I understand that. But from my perspective, it's man, Coach Prime is him. He's came here. He's pretty much turned this program around and is going to help lead us in the right direction. It does. It is a bit scary that this team is going to be completely different in a year without our star players. But with the transfer portal, it's like we're going to have a new team either way. Like obviously we've had 41 transfers this year, and probably about 20 of them are going to start. So we do have a new team from last year. I understand. It's like you either love him or hate him, you know.
Totally. I think, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that. But yeah, I think literally the three best things that have happened to me in my life are my mom, God, and Coach Prime. Coach Prime, baby. He has just brought so much energy to this school, which has just been amazing to live in the presence, in the moment of that, see it firsthand as a college student. Anyways, I have a fun little hypothetical for you. How do you think Coach Prime's legacy would be defined at Boulder if he left next year for a different coaching position or for the NFL?
I saw something that would be crazy. Like, let's say hypothetically, like we're just talking rumors, but let's say the Cowboys and Dak Prescott have just a shitty year, and somehow Shedeur gets drafted to the Cowboys. Does like imagine Coach Prime just being the next Cowboys coach? That would be insane. And as a CU fan, it's like we can't say anything. Like we don't deserve Coach Prime. In all honestly, we don't deserve it. So if he was to leave next year, like all I would like, I wouldn't be able to feel any ill way towards him because he's done so much for us in just 1 year. He's changed he's turned this program around. So obviously I would be hurt as a CU fan, but he doesn't owe us anything because at the end of the day, it is a business. Like he's there to get his money and he's there to win at the highest level. And if it is in the NFL, then so be it. But he said on the Joel Klatt show that he does want to stay. He loves Boulder and he's not here just to follow his kids and Travis included to the NFL. But legacy wise, it really depends on this year because if he can lead us to a bowl game and if not even a bowl game to a Big 12 championship, like his name is going to be in the banner books forever. Like we should retire his jersey as a coach in the rafters. That would be awesome. But he really doesn't know anything to us. So for us, I think we just got to cherish this time with him being our coach, and especially this year, obviously us being seniors as well. Just like taking the moment, like it's going to be so awesome just seeing Shedeur one last ride with his dad as being his coach.
I cannot wait for football, man. Oh my God.
I know.
Game days are just the best.
I know.
The season could not come sooner. But I agree. I honestly think if he left like this, like next season, like there would be Sanders somewhere, like either jersey retired. I don't like his name would be on some sort of building for
They
sure.
gotta be, or they name Folsom Field after Coach Prime.
Yeah.
How about that?
Sanders Field.
Either
Sanders.
way, like I don't care how much we win, like his name should be up there somewhere.
Yeah.
But okay, anyway, so we talked a little bit about the pressure on Coach Prime and just the whole narrative around the media with the Buffs. My question to you is this: why are the Buffs ranked 11th in the Big 12, but then 16th in the country in NCAA football? I know it's just a video game, but like these are two completely different narratives. Why are they being pushed as such?
When you think of video games, right? You don't think of, or when you think of team sports and video games, excuse me, like think of NBA 2K and you're playing as the USA team. You know, maybe that
Sure.
USA team didn't win that year, but on paper, they had by far the best roster. That's why that team is like a 99 in 2K, right?
Uh-huh.
It's kind of the same thing we're seeing here with Colorado. We have a ton of awesome players, a ton of great players, definitely some um, NFL players in the future. And that's why I think they're rated so good in the video game. And also due to just their like super hype. Travis is on the cover, which I'm sure gave them some more credibility when it came to the rankings. But yeah, I mean, they're ranked 11th in the Big 12 because they haven't proven anything with all the talent they have. You know what I mean? Like, we will see this year. I really hope these power rankings are wrong, because I definitely think we could be a top 5 team in the Big 12 for sure. But yeah, that's kind of just the way the cookie is crumbling for now. Do you have any additional thoughts on that?
Yeah, I see how you're thinking, and I see why we were ranked in the 11th. Just because there is a lot of uncertainty around this team. I mean, with the transfer portal, obviously we've had the most transfers in at 41. We have a whole new team, pretty much could have a whole new starting roster. So there is a lot of inconsistency there. And then when you look at last year, obviously starting 3-0, all the hype was there, but then going out 4-8, like we definitely were not on the rise in any way, shape, or form. Kind of on paper. I mean, Shedeur, I've said this before, top 5 quarterback in the country. There's no arguing that. He is, like, especially when he has the time in the pocket, in which he will have this season if the O-line can stay healthy, of course. Like, he is probably the most skilled player in the country. And then Travis Hunter, the best athlete on the field. There's no questions around that. But there is a lot of uncertainty with the rest of the team and how we'll stack up against these opponents now in the Big 12. So I do understand that. I just thought it was funny, like looking at this, like we're a ranked team in NCAA, which I'm super excited to play, by the way. But our offense is ranked 89, which is top 10. And it's like, we have this on roster. Why is this not transitioning into gameplay? Which I really hope it does. And I'm not saying it can't, but it's for some reason, it's like the public doesn't think that it's going to transition into the win column. So I think it's better this year having that underdog narrative around us, just because being ranked in the first couple of weeks last year really hurt us in a way where I feel like our ego just got in the way. And even as a fan, it was like, we're going to win it all. As a better too, it's like we kept betting on Boulder, even though we kept losing. So I think this year we have that underdog narrative, being ranked 11th in the Big 12. The only way we can go is up.
Yeah,
A quote that Coach Prime said from that Oregon loss we had last year, he was like, you better get us now because there's only a way we're going up. Like the only way we're going is up. And from last year, we saw what happened. I don't think that late end of the season stretch could get any worse. Like that was brutal. But we're coming off of that now, and I feel like us being underdogs is gonna strike something a little extra in Shedeur and Travis and the rest of the dogs. And I think that the narrative is going to be completely different than it was last year.
100%. One last thought. I also was just thinking about like the Bengals, right? Well, we have the best quarterback and the best athlete player in the conference. I'm pretty sure there's no disputing that, which adds to their competitive edge. But also, I feel like if you have, right, the best quarterback and like the best skill player on the field, like I was just thinking about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase on the Bengals, and like the
Mhm.
Bengals are always have like a really good rating in Madden every year, and I feel like there could be some of that going on. I don't know. Just wanted to
Sure.
compare the Bengals and the Boulder Buffaloes in their respective video games.
Yeah, I know the haters are going to say it's a video game, like it's not going to transition into actual play, which I do understand, but it got to mean something, right? I mean, we're ranked up there for a reason. That's why it's so intriguing, because it's like we don't know what's going to happen. We can end up winning out. Like we can win a bunch of games that people pretty much had us losing, and that's exciting as a Buff fan. We appreciate you all tuning in to Buffs Banter. Make sure to listen to our next show. We're probably going to dive into the upgrades regarding the transfer portal. Make sure to follow and subscribe to us on all platforms in order to stay updated as we chop up everything going on with the Colorado football team.